not liking dude. But, I've been seeing these it's just been getting weird lately, though. Let's keep it real. It's been getting pretty weird lately with how people are jumping over the fence and out the window to speak against reparations. I don't know why I'm not coming up on the thing. But people have been getting real reckless when it comes to reparations. And for me, it's like this. There's no appropriate time or way to be against reparations. Like you can't, there's no way you could even justify any kind of we shouldn't get reparationism. If you ask me, that's ridiculous. Like, how can you justify we shouldn't get what's ours, especially by using dumbass arguments? Everybody wants to say everything about why we shouldn't get reparations. We're just going to give it right back to them. Who cares? Who cares? Because to keep it real, some of y'all are already doing that with your check any damn way. It ain't our responsibility to make sure you do with yours what you're supposed to do with it. We're never going to get to 100% consensus, and we don't need to. See, what's happening now, like I said before, is we're getting to the point to where we have to purify and refine ourselves individually and as a people in order to continue to ascend. Ascension always comes with purification and purging. You can't level up without purging some of the bullshit characteristics and flaws in your personal life and as a community. Period. So there'll be plenty of people that will fuck off their reparations. I'm certain of that. You don't have to convince me of that. But that don't really matter. Because that's part of the separation. That's part of the fighting that we're doing right now. Where we're battling each other over ideologies. We're going to war. Those who really could understand the vision and those who can't. Those who are coming against it. Because we've always had fuck niggas that come against our movements. We've always had that. And the reason why we have to do this purge is because we have to get them out the way, because we can't really fight the real beast until we clean house first to be effective. That's a fact. That's just the revolutionary principle. You gotta look, you gotta get the house in order first. So even as we're like, solidifying ourselves as a FBA specific from those who just came here, from those who are Caribbean, from those who are straight from the continent, we're solidifying our base first. Well, even within our base, we still have to purge some of the weak Negroes. See, and if some of these other cats from the Caribbean and from the continent did that, it would be easier for us all to be able to work together. The problem is y'all have a class of your people that come here talking this bullshit, regurgitating white supremacist talking points. That's why we're saying you got to hold your own nuts. That's why we're saying we got to be on code, because then we understand who's really with us. You can have the most fanciest name. You can belong to an organization that sounds respectable. You can say you're about the movement, you're about the people, but we're going to see. All that's going to come to light by your works and by what you support and by what your messaging is if you have your own media platform. What's your true agenda? It's all coming out. So we have to make that separation between those that are with us and those that ain't. So anyway, let me just go ahead and play this thing real quick. This is just a warm up. I'm going to play a couple videos. And I'm going to kind of, go through it. I don't know why I can't get the camera to work. But here we go. Let's give it the first one.
Telling me is you want reparations so you can give it over to your yellow baby mama. You want my ancestors' reparations so you can give it to your white baby mama. This is why our generation don't deserve reparations. So what you're basically...
Listen, man, like I said, there is no appropriate way, time, or place to say we don't deserve reparations, man. That's like saying you don't deserve your paycheck because you might blow it on alcohol or blow it at the casino, blow it tricking off, blow it on drugs, blow it on Jordans, so you don't deserve your paycheck. I know people that got inheritance, real life, nice little bag, had a plan, had a team, fucked it off. Now back waiting on government assistance. So that's a shame, right? But those things happen though. It's a shame, but does that mean that person didn't deserve the bag? Do you think that if our ancestors actually got compensated for the labor that they did to build this country, do you think every single one of them would have been responsible with the money? And who are we to say what other people do with their money in the first place? See, but what we're going to see happen, though, with these reparations is we're going to see the real separation. We're going to see where people's heads are really at. Yes, some people are going to blow it because surely they're going to come out with a Harriet Tubman Ford Explorer edition, right? Surely they're going to come out with a Frederick Douglass Cadillac or something. You already know that, right? But how many? But I do know one thing. I know that there'll be a lot of schools and learning centers that'll be built in the community. I know there'll be a lot of health centers built in the community. I know there'll be a lot of banks and credit unions that's going to pop up. I know a lot of businesses are going to scale. I know a lot of people's standards of living is going to increase. Anyway, let's get to this next one so we can break this one down because I don't want to get ahead of the game. Let's do this. So this is another video, and I don't know who this person is who shared this video. I believe that they are actually in support of the message, but I'm gonna go ahead and use their video as an example anyway.
5 easy steps. Step number 1: get Black people to focus on money, not on structural transformation. Get Black people to focus on money, not structural transformation. Get Black people to focus on money, not structural transformation. They're going to give you $224,000 one time. One time. They're not going to do nothing about the schools. They're not going to do nothing about prison or criminal justice. They're not going to do nothing about gentrification. They're not going to do nothing about police brutality. They're not going to do nothing about access to wealth beyond $224,000.
Nah, let's keep it a buck, man. That's some goofy ass shit right there. For real, because let's keep it real. First of all, with $224,000, we can remedy a lot of those challenges ourselves. That's number one. Number two, they just owe the bread. Period. They owe the bread. Run the money. Cut the check. A lot of those things we could remedy ourselves. A lot of those problems that he named was a result of being locked into generational poverty. And who's to say that we don't push for other things besides just the check? But the check's the easiest for them to cut. They can cut that overnight. So we're saying the check is a good down payment on the fact that you're trying to rectify a wrong. It's the easiest one. You can just zip it right to the bank accounts. You can just write a check and send it. You can Cash App it. You can Venmo it. You can PayPal it. It's the easiest thing to do is to cut the check. They've already shown that they can cut checks because within the last few years, we've been seeing several $1 trillion of stimulus packages. So that's really not a good argument to say they're not going to do anything about this and that and this and that. A lot of those things we can do. See, one of the biggest injustices to our people in regards to slavery was the fact that, and what happened post-slavery is the fact that we didn't get the opportunities, the equal opportunities to do things that would build generational wealth. Starting with, we didn't get paid for building the country, which is the wealthiest in the world. But then when you look at home ownership, that's how most generational wealth is passed down. through home ownership. So how long were we not able to own a home to pass down? Cut the check.
Are y'all with me?
Nope.
Are y'all with me, family?
Fuck no, sir.
See, number one, get them to focus on money, not structural changes. Structural injustice and inequity created the problems Black people have. Structural injustice, bias, discrimination, and inequity created the problems Black people have.
Right, and equity can be built with a check. With a check, we can purchase land, we can purchase assets, we can create businesses, we can better protect ourselves from the injustices that happen to our communities. We can build the infrastructure and institutions that we need. We can take it down south, buy a whole bunch of land, and create towns again like our ancestors did. We could take it to the Black towns that already exist. There's like 12 of them in Oklahoma alone. I believe Missouri has one. I think Florida has one of the oldest ones. We have like 20 Black towns right now. Right now. That some of us can go there and build. And we could redo what we did in Atlanta. Chocolate cities all over the place. Without the zestiness. How many couples and families don't make it because they don't have the resources, and that creates problems, which breaks up families? Because that's really the key. If you don't have security, you can't really do anything. You can't really move. You can't really make the moves and live the way you're supposed to live. You don't have enough time to sit and think when you're in the hustle bustle of week to week. So no, we need that check. The check was important enough that they held it from us and build their wealth with it. No, we need that check. We need them to run that money. We don't need no capping about what we need to do first before we can get paid, before we can get the check. Fuck all that. They didn't do that to no one else. Slave masters, they actually got compensated for losing slaves. Jewish people got compensated. Japanese got compensated. Native Americans got compensated. We sending money all over to all kind of different countries to help with what they're doing, that giving them aid. No, we need that check. Straight up. No, I do know that he did say that he has some, was it Colombian or Cuban roots or something? And it's just interesting how all these non-FBAs are always the ones that are coming against reparations. You don't find that suspicious? I find that suspicious. You know what I'm saying? And Umar, you got too big of a voice. And you actually have things that are respectable. You actually add value to the community. But what you've been on as of late has been fugazi, bro. Let's just keep it a buck. And this whole anti-reparations, because you know you're really just jealous of the person who you feel is the face of the reparations movement. That's really what it boils down to. That's a bad look. That's a bad look, homie. For real. Whatever kind of rifts y'all had in the past, fuck all that. Get on code. You're trying to build an institution. You're trying to build a school. And you've been saying that your biggest challenge has been being able to get the funds necessary to see the process through. So you don't think that if reparation checks were cut, people would be able to increase their donations to the point where you can satellite your school in every major city? So I know a lot of people that do homeschooling that be able to scale that up. So the bag is important. People fuck it off, let them fuck it off. Those who don't, we're going to build our own elite society. It's part of the purge. It's part of the movement right now. That's how we're going to secure the future. A lot of niggas ain't going to make it. They just ain't. Yeah, you already know, a lot of our people are going to give that money back. That's a fact. They're going to fuck it off. They're going to just send it right to other people's hands immediately. That's a fact. But those who don't, as long as we are in network with each other, we're going to build satellite Black Wall Streets all over the country. We're going to collectively be on code to the point to where we will have the proper institutions in place to hold it down. We'll have the media institutions. We'll have health in the form of clinics and hospitals. We'll have education. We'll have financial institutions. We'll have communities where our genius can flourish. We'll be able to buy politicians when we need to. And they know this. Because if they really thought, if they really thought we was just going to fuck off the money, if they really thought we was just going to give it right back to them, they would have been gave us reparations.
Structural injustice, bias, discrimination, and inequity created the problems that Black people have, but we're not going to address none of that. Reparations, we not repairing a single institution. Reparations, we not repairing a single system. Reparations, we not going to change a single thing wrong with this country. We just going to give them some money. And since they don't have any institutions to trap that money in their community, since Black people hardly own any institutions outside of restaurants and hair salons, Black hardly own any institutions outside of restaurants and hair salons. The money we give them automatically becomes an economic stimulus package to everybody else in California who owns the businesses. Can I say this any clearer? Brothers and sisters, can I say that? Do you understand and overstand and understand me? Give them the money by virtue of them having no institutions is automatically going to go back to everybody else in California. Number 3, let me make this real plain for y'all.
Like I said, look, one of the main reasons why we don't have some of those institutions is twofold, really. Because collectively, we do actually collectively already have enough money to be able to set it off. We really do. But as far as just having liquid assets, having actual tangible money in our hands that we can immediately put towards different things, that's a whole different level. And by being able to do that, we'll be able to build these institutions. We won't need a handout. We won't need any help. We'll be able to do it almost immediately overnight. And what we're going to do. That's exactly what we're going to do. And it might only be a small percentage of us that's really on code enough to understand the importance of doing the kind of things that we need to do. That's what I expect. I don't expect everybody to be on the same page. I don't expect that ever to happen, really. When has it really ever happened? You can go back to any time or place where we've ever dwelled. There's never been 100% consensus with anything. That's just not human nature. But at this point, there should be enough of us because we all have access to the information that would give us the direction. We all have access now, more so than ever.
Let me make this real plain for y'all. They're going to use your reparations check as a PP loan donation to the white businesses, the Asian businesses, the Arab businesses, the Latino businesses, the East Indian businesses, the immigrant businesses. Yup, You ain't nothing but a PPP check to everybody else in the state of California. They are making it look like they're giving you reparations, but all they are doing is using you as a conduit to give an economic stimulus package to all non-Black people in California. Lord have mercy.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Like they ain't already doing that. Like we ain't already doing it. Like that's not already a thing. It's already a thing. And the reason why it's a thing is because we don't have the resources to fill in the positions of product and service providers in our community. With reparations, we can starve and buy out all the businesses that are not us in our communities, as long as we support it. Because currently, that's already what we're doing. We're already spending 98% of our money outside of our community. We're already doing that. It's like this ain't like some Jedi mind trick that you can pull on Black people saying that, hey, we shouldn't get it because we're just going to give it right back to them. Like we ain't already doing that. But how many of y'all got businesses, got ideas, got endeavors that you're currently doing or would like to pursue, but you can't because you don't have the time, because you have to work 60 hours a week, or you don't have the resources to put it in effect the way you really need to? You may have something that's small, that's you're just hustling every day with, but if you had the financing, you can scale it up to a level to where that could be your business, providing the goods and services that we as a people need or that anyone needs. There's already Black banks we could bank with, but what if there was one present in every major city though? What if you didn't just have to online bank it like with One United, to where there's a One United branch in every community, or a group of people can start their own credit union in every community. Now you got money in that credit union that you could lend out to make money. Plus you could use it to loan for business loans. And we could do exactly what they do. Qualify our own based on our criteria, not theirs. What about those that, they're making a CMOS and they got all these Sabi recipes and herbs and concoctions that really work, but they just don't have enough money to scale it up and to turn it to a full-fledged business with a storefront? What about those who are practitioners of physical health, doctors that would be able to operate in a more effective way? What about those like you, Umar? Want to get a school popping, just ain't got the finances and resources. Because for someone who's asking for our resources a lot, why would you deny even the idea of cash reparations when you're asking people for cash every day so you can get your school going, which you've been working on for the last 10 years? And I hope that school gets popping for real. I understand the value that you bring to the community, but right now you're bringing a little bit of fuckery to the community with this reparations gig that you're on. This is just bullshit. This whole little reparations stunt you've been pulling the last however many months is garbage. It is. I gotta say, I'm not saying attacking you as an individual, but your stance on reparations is real suspect right now. It looks real petty, looks real selfish, and it's not even logical. You're actually going against your own best interest because of a personal conflict or a personal feeling that you have towards someone who you don't want. Your ego won't allow you to watch someone else get credit or get praise or be the face or the spokesperson or the most recognizable figure when it comes to this conversation. That's really what's eating you up right now. And that's off code. Shout out to everybody that's watching. That's real off code behavior, bro. Come on, man. Everyone should be pushing on this reparations, and regardless if you think we're going to get it or not. So I know there's some people, we're never going to get reparations. That might be their stance, but shut the fuck up if it is. Just shut the fuck up. Don't be the reason. Don't be like don't be part of why we don't get it. Don't give sound bites for them to be able to use against our demands of reparations. Because that's what inadvertently a lot of y'all are doing. Y'all giving sound bites. You're making it possible for white supremacists to say, hey, look, that black person, he's about the community. He doesn't think you should get it either. Don't give them sound bites. We demand reparations, and we're starting to move the needle like we've never done before. We have more people on code with this movement than we have ever had before. And if worse come to worse, make them say no. They ain't giving us reparations. Make them say it right now. We ain't trying to push this another 50 years down the line. Make them say it right now, and then we can regroup and figure out how our response is going to be to that. But make them say it right now.
Lord have mercy. And this is why all of you following these Negroes talking about they want a cash settlement. What happens when the money run out?
And there it is right there. There's the real reason why he's speaking about against reparations right now. Let's hear that part again. Don't let that, yeah.
And this is why all package to all have mercy. And this is why all of you following these Negroes talking about they want a cash settlement. What happens when the money run out?
When the money run out, the money run out. If you could fuck off a $200,000 bag, you was useless any damn way, for real. If you can fuck off a $200,000 bag, what good were you anyway? Like I know enough people, right, that with a $200,000 windfall would collectively be able to organize to put together a few million collectively. And without even having to exhaust all of our resources from that 200 whatever thousand, we'll be able to put up enough to really get some things popping. And these dynamics exist in every single community across the United States of America. So anyone who would be foolish enough to fuck off all of that money, it don't even matter. Let them do that. They weren't going to be any good to us anyway. They're probably not any good to us now. So that's not a legitimate reason to say that we shouldn't get reparations.
Because you ain't coming back for no more. What happens when the money runs out? I am of the position that until we build our own institutions to trap the reparations money inside the community, with the $2 trillion we spend every year, we don't get the reparations until we can prove to our ancestors. Until we can prove to our ancestors, until we can prove to our ancestors that we have built the institutions we need to trap the money inside the Black community, none of us should receive a single check. Until we
look, man, the reparations is how we're going to be able to create these institutions. The biggest challenge we have to creating the institutions that we need to create is lack of resources, lack of ability to be able to obtain the resources. That's our biggest challenge right now. So trying to use the ancestors, like niggas always trying to use ancestors to shame people. Fuck out of here with that. Because really, our ancestors should have already had the money, and if they did, they would have had a legacy to generationally pass down to us, and we wouldn't have to have this discussion. With the wealth that we built in this nation, we should actually be of the richest. We should have the highest standard of living per capita in this country already. We should have already had generations of wealth handed down to us at this point. We should already be working on 9 generations of home ownership and business ownership. We should be the DuPonts and the Rockefellers, the JP Morgans. We should already be that. So ain't no like prerequisites. Oh, you have to do this and that and make people happy and make us feel secure. No, ain't none of that. Oh, the ancestors, they wouldn't approve of the fuck out of here. You ain't speaking. I don't know what ancestors you're actually tapping into at this point to say some goofy shit like that. What ancestors are you tapping into that don't want us to have reparations? You can't make prerequisites of you have to act a certain way before you can get it. Because if my family, my bloodline built wealth